We're seeing it in our streaming services like Netflix and Hulu, where we have Black-only categories. I went onto YouTube.
Wait, hold on. Oh God, I'm getting triggered because of the stupidity. I'm sorry. Are you saying that having a Black category for Black films or whatever is segregation? Now, PragerU does a lot of dumb shit. And this is a video that popped up. This video is old, okay? It is. It's an older one. But it popped up particularly because I found a clip of this girl before she left the left. And it's quite funny. So this is Amala Ekapunabi. So Amala Wannabe here, as we know, she used to be a crazy, liberal SJW. The worst of the worst, until she saw the light in the shape of a $sign, and she became a conservative for Prager fucking you. Wow. Prager fucked you. Insane, I know. So, I haven't looked over this video, but I wanted to look over it. But first, let's look at the clip of her before she left the left. Because I think this is really indicative of the fact that she does have a better understanding of some of the left-wing positions and is intentionally lying or being obtuse because, again, money.
We need to talk about how this has been a problem for people of color for generations and generations.
True. Almost based.
And in the case of the Parkland shooting and many before it, we need to talk about how shooters of white backgrounds are referred to as children, former students, mentally ill individuals, and lonely and confused rather than what they actually are, and that is terrorists.
Oh my goodness.
So, this was her before she turned to the right. And I don't even know, like, what she says here seems pretty reasonable. It is true that oftentimes the way in which we announce shooters when they're white is different than when we announce shooters when they're black. But yeah, I just thought that clip was fun. Let's go ahead and dive into the video.
They hated white people. I'm half white. Am I supposed to hate that half of myself? Am I supposed to hate my family? That was a light
Yes.
bulb moment for me. My name is Avallone, and this is my story. I'm 20 years old. I was born in Florida, and I'm a social media influencer and Prager Force member. So my father was a Nigerian immigrant. He moved to America.
I love the piano right off the bat. Oh my God. My father was an immigrant. Da-na-na, tugging at your heartstrings.
He met my mother. They fell in love and got married, and they had 3 children, me being the middle child. And he was in my life up until I was 6 years old, and then my parents got divorced. So I have very little memories of him as a child, and
Sorry, Amala. The divorce was your fault.
as they were divorced, I didn't see him very often, maybe every year or so, and now he bears very little influence in my life, which I know is common for most people in the Black community, unfortunately. So I sort of fall into that statistic, if you will. So my mom is a very strong-willed woman.
Okay. That's nothing to really say yet, but, okay. So, right off the bat, I'm going to wonder, like, if you are aware of this problem, then are you also going to be aware of what's causing the issue and how to fix it? Or is your solution just like, the Black culture is bad and needs to do better?
Woman, a very opinionated woman. She happens to work for the left. She is a fundraiser, so she gets all the funding for the organization that she works for. As a child, my mom's beliefs were ingrained in me. She taught me leftist ideology and what she believed from a very young age, and I was always well aware of where she fell on the line. And
Wait, well, are we going to get an example of this leftist ideology that was taught? Was it like, people shouldn't be poor in America? What was the leftist ideology that was taught? Are we going to get an example, or is it just like about how your mom was a spooky lefty, and every time I would go to bed, she wouldn't sing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. She would sing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Marks. Oh!
expected to believe the same. Not having my father in my life did have an impact on me, but I found father figures elsewhere. And two people who had a major influence on me were my grandparents, and they are this strong, beautiful, conservative couple that has been married for years and years. And
Interesting. Your grandparents were conservative, but your mom wasn't? Why would that be a thing that's happening? Huh?
they taught me how to be a lady. They taught me how to carry myself and be mature. And
Oh my
I find
God, this is so offensive to your mother. Your dad ditched like a dick. Your mom raised you, but all we get to hear is she was entrenched in leftist ideology. But then my grandparents taught me how to be a lady. What does that mean? Were they like, you must not look with lust at a boy. You must wear no pants, only long skirts. You must resemble that of a pilgrim attending America for the first time. What does it mean to be a lady? This seems really... I feel bad for your mom. Imagine she's watching this. She's like, oh, my daughter finally made it big. She finally got a nice big paycheck from an oil billionaire. Yes. Clicks on the video and it's like, my mom was like a fucking nutcase lefty, you know? She was lame. Fuck her. But my grandparents... And the mom's just like, oh.
myself very lucky, actually, that even though my family does not agree with the values that I am putting out to the world, that my family accepts what I do and that they are proud of what I do, even though they disagree. When I was 17 and I graduated high school...
Okay, I can kind of relate to that. I mean, my family disagrees with a lot of the shit that I say on my channel, especially in regards to religion. But, you know, we still love each other. We're still cool.
When I was 17 and I graduated high school, I took up a job as a youth organizer at my mother's organization. And
Wait, what's your mom's organization? I'm looking this up. Hold on. I'm curious now. Interesting. It looks as though there is something about her mom here from 2001. Ah. Okay. Remember earlier I said, what's her opinion on the black issues here? Is she just going to say do better or it's the culture? In a Facebook video, Amala said the two biggest problems affecting the black community today are 1, the lack of fathers, and 2, the disgusting and regressive black culture that the black community experiences. Dude, these people are so predictable. I wasn't even looking for this. I was trying to find info on her mother's organization, but instead I found out that she literally made the identical argument that I said she probably would make, and I was right. I need to start betting money on this shit, man. If black people are so held back in this country because of their race, why is it that Nigerian immigrants moving into this are one of the most successful demographics in the United States? Why is it, oh, interesting. This is such a stupid talking point. Yeah, the reason for that, by the way, is because they immigrate. They immigrated here. You realize that if you're going to immigrate to America from a foreign area, you probably have wealth, right? Like, that's just completely disanalogous, but okay.
as I was working there, I remember in particular walking into the office and hearing these conversations specifically in regards to white people, and it was blatantly racist. There's no way around it. There's no beating around the bush. They hated white people. And I sat down with the VP of the organization, and...
Wait, what were they saying that made you think that they hated white people? Also, yeah, good point, chat. She's talking about how, like, you know, am I supposed to hate the white side of myself? But, like, why are you shit-talking the black side of yourself? So, let me get this straight. Your mom had an organization, and people at the organization were talking shit about white people. Was that, like, part of the organization? Was the organization, like, preaching, like, white people suck dick? White people always let dogs lick peanut butter off of their penises. Boo, white people. Or like, was it just people in the organization talking? Because that's not necessarily reflective of the organization or of the left, right? But okay, I don't want to get too ahead of myself here.
I told him I was concerned. I'm half white. I grew up with my white family. Am I supposed to hate that half of myself? Am I supposed to hate my family? He essentially...
Again, no, you're not supposed to, but why do you seem to be interested in shit-talking the black side of yourself and the black side of your family? Like, the disgusting black culture. How did that culture get there?
Essentially told me, you have to understand that people are angry, and they're rightfully angry, and they're going to say these things, and maybe they don't fully mean it, but you have to sit down and you have to take it, and you should be angry too. So that...
Really? That's what he said? You just need to take it, bitch. Okay? White people suck. That is what our organization stands for. That is what we believe, and we will not back down when we're talking about how sucky white people are. Half of this story thus far, I feel like it just should end with, and then everybody clapped.
Was a light bulb moment for me. And I went out to seek answers on my own since nobody wanted to answer them. I went online and I found an interview in particular of Thomas Sowell. And something that resonated with me is that he was a Marxist for most of his young life, just as I was. And that shared experience
Wait, you were a Marxist? What made you a Marxist? Can we get any evidence of this? How do we know she was a Marxist? Holy shit. Was she just like, I wanted there to be more welfare, and that's socialism, and that's Marxism. Ha ha ha. Okay, hey, Cody Sullivan, I saw your snide little comment. I'll send you the Discord. I know you don't have the balls to join, but still, you know, for the principle of it.
Was a beautiful revelation to see. And now he is this beautiful mind who has intellect beyond what I will ever be capable of. So he is a major inspiration for me and a big part of why I'm a conservative today. So when I think about the Black community in America and how we are taught to be victims.
Okay, before we get to this, yeah, again, I just want to reiterate that they almost always say, I was a Marxist. But to them, again, Marxism is like, I voted for the Democrats.
When I think about the Black community in America and how we are taught to be victims, it is devastating for me. And what happens is you are raised in a society in which really nobody is treating you differently, but you have the mindset that they are. And not only...
So, holy shit, the editing, what the fuck? Taught to be victims. How so? How is anybody being taught to be victims? Do you mean that having a conversation about racism is teaching you to be victims, and that's causing like Black people not to do as well? And are you actually going to then take the opinion that simply saying that racism is real is enough to cause Black people to just roll over and give up? But systemic racism isn't holding anybody back? Is that, like, you realize the contradiction with your statements already, right? Okay.
And not only does it hold you back from creating your own success, but it holds you back from taking accountability. And you no longer are responsible for your actions because you have somebody to blame.
Right. Okay, so we're actually going this route of the argumentation. How is this person so predictable? Jesus Christ. I do not believe that this person was ever a Marxist. And if they were, their version of being a Marxist, like I said, was just like, I liked the Democrats because my favorite color was blue. You're not an actual, like, well-decided Marxist who then starts reverting to this level of brain-dead talking points. That's not true. But she is. She's making the argument that it holds Black people back from success. Got it. So all of the empirical evidence of systemic racism, that's not holding Black people down, but simply saying to Black people, hey, racism is a thing. It's really unfortunate. That's enough to hold Black people down? What? Make it make sense. I know that your job is to just, like, spiel off a bunch of dipshit talking points for the half-drunk conservatives to clap along to, but could you at least try? This is painful.
Your actions because you have somebody to blame. And people perpetuate that, and they tell you that's okay, and they say, yes, you are a victim, and then you go out with that mindset. And when success doesn't happen for you, you blame it on other people. And ultimately, I think that is the main problem with that narrative, is that there's no...
What success? What success that you are... Let me rephrase this. What opportunities are you missing out on that you're then blaming other people for? I don't understand what you mean by this. Again, talking about the existence of systemic racism is not causing this. And there are absolutely issues. I mean, if the Black community has less fathers, for example, which is something you said is plaguing the Black community, that also leads that you have less stable families. That further contributes to the disproportionate rates of poverty, which further contributes to underfunded public schools, which contributes to shittier educations, and so forth. There's a lot of negative consequences that affect Black people, and they sort of trickle down one after the other. And so I don't know what you mean that we're just blaming other people for everything. You'd have to give me a better example of that.
no accountability in the Black community anymore, and people get very, very angry when you say things like that.
Wait,
because
what?
there's accountability in the Black people, and ultimately I think that is the main problem with that narrative, is that there's no accountability in the Black community anymore, and people get very, very angry when you say things like that, because they want their race to be seen. They think it's such a pivotal part of who they are as a person. And
So the reason that people get mad when you say that is that when you say the Black community lacks accountability, the only logical follow-through of that is that if the Blacks had more accountability, they'd be in a better position today. Which is not only not true, it's actually demonstrating that you have no fucking idea how systemic racism affects people. And again, conservatives create this dichotomy when it doesn't need to be there, that it's either everything is the fault of the system or you just have to work hard and not listen to anybody. When in reality, you should do both. Work hard to succeed in life, do as much as you possibly can to get ahead in life, but also acknowledge that there are certain systems and barriers that are in place for Black people that are not there for white people. When you say lack of accountability, your only suggestion coming away from that is that if Black people had more accountability, they'd somehow be doing better, which is a bull-faced lie. And it's, again, putting all the onus on the victim and the individual rather than acknowledging that people are all products of their environment. And then you say, well, they want to act like being Black is a pivotal part of them, blah, blah, blah. First of all, I don't know if that's true. But again, because of the way systemic racism works, there is absolutely a reason why, or there's absolutely a reason to acknowledge race, okay? When you have Black people getting disproportionately sentenced to death as opposed to white people who commit the same crimes, you have to acknowledge a racial component there because that's the only fucking variable. So literally every single thing she said is like a lie and lacks any kind of nuance. For a white man, you sure like to tell Black people what their problems are. All right, Shredda, you have about 5 minutes to join the Discord, and if I don't see you, you will be permanently banned. You sound racist. All right, cool. Yeah, you have what do we want to do, chat? About 5 minutes? Shredda, you got 5 minutes to get in the Discord and talk to me and say that to my face, and we can talk about it, or you will be permanently banned. All right, you'll be permanently segregated. How's that for racism?
And it's things like that. There's no accountability in the Black community anymore, and people get very, very angry when you say things like that because they want their race to be seen. They think it's such a pivotal part of who they are as a person, and it's overtaking character. It's overtaking morals and values. It's overtaking where you even land politically. Your race.
I don't want your BS Discord racist. Okay, bye-bye. See ya. Hilarious, dude. Conservatives are such spineless little bitch boys. They want to talk mad shit in the chat, and I'm like, hey, why don't you just say this to my face? I don't know how to use Discord. What is a computer? How do you connect to the internet? Fuck you.
You even land politically. Your race
All right, sorry,
is
I'm getting too
it's their
distracted.
race to be seen. They think it's such a pivotal part of who they are as a person, and it's overtaking character. It's overtaking morals and values. It's overtaking where you even land politically. Your race is seen as this sort of pivotal structure to who you are when that should not be the case.
How is your race replacing morals? What? Yeah, next time you're wondering, like, should I steal something and you think, what would Jesus do? You just, no. What would the Black people do? Yeah, I should be thinking about this for my moral code. How is it replacing morals? What does this mean? Well, usually murder is wrong, but I'm Black, so that's replaced my morals. What? I don't know what the argument is that's being made here. Hey, James Mitchell, I see that you say you're Black and I'm not racist. Thank you. And you've also given me the N-word pass. Holy shit. Thank you, Ma. No, I'm just kidding. James Mitchell, thanks for the $5 donation as well. Hopefully Black conservatives realize the end game of conservatism and fascism is their persecution, and being one of the good ones won't save them. Yeah, they're probably too busy sticking their nose into like a fat wad of cash to pay attention to that. But anyway.
When that should not be the case. We are bringing back segregation in this country, and people will sell it.
What? Oh my god, it's just one dumb thing from the next. How? It just shouldn't be like this, replacing our morals. Segregation is returning. Only this time the Democrats want all blacks on their Democratic plantation. Okay.
We are bringing back segregation in this country, and people will sell it to you as if we're doing it in a positive manner, but it is segregation nonetheless, and that is never positive.
Okay, what?
So
What is?
that's another narrative that the American people are being sold, that we need to uplift black people, and in doing that, we need to keep them in their separate categories, and we need to give them their success. And
Wait, what? So no examples? It's just segregation's coming back? What? I don't even know how to respond to this. She's not giving anything to respond to. And what is this editing? Like all the cut angles? Okay. This video isn't cool enough for that.
Perpetuates the very same racist narrative that they are trying to run away from. Because if black people can't do anything without your help, and without the help of white liberals or white leftists, what are you saying about the black community? You're saying that they're not capable of doing things without you. You're taking away.
So, massive straw man. Nobody's saying that black people can't do something without the help of white liberals. What they're saying is that we as a collective, all of us, white people and black people alike, need to acknowledge the existence of systemic racism so that we can better improve the situation that black people are disproportionately in. This has nothing to do with being like, oh, black people need us to save them, ha ha ha. No. By that logic is every single time you try to enact policy to better a group of people, saying that, oh, so you just need us? You just need a politician to save you? No. Politics has the ability, legislation has the ability to change certain circumstances, which is necessary to better the black community. This isn't white liberals trying to swoop in and save black people. This is called people acknowledging the facts of the matter and then trying to act accordingly in despite of dumb fucks like you.
Away their character. You're taking away their success and putting it under your name.
What is an example of systemic racism that exists today? Sivik, you've been asking to talk in my Discord and I've sent it to you 5 times. Join and we can talk. I will debate you on systemic racism, okay?
Leftists. What are you saying about the black community? You're saying that they're not capable of doing things without you. You're taking away their character. You're taking away their success. And
that's what you're saying. You're saying they lack accountability, which means if they were more accountable, they'd be better. So what you're saying is that it's actually the black people that are just too stupid to get up and fix their situation. That's your argument. This is the funny thing with conservatives is you try to acknowledge systemic racism and they'll say, oh, so you just think that blacks are incapable? Huh. But then they'll say, well, black people need to just pull themselves up by the bootstraps, be more accountable. Okay, then why haven't they done that? Why has this been going on for generations and generations? You need to then acknowledge that, oh, I guess according to my logic, according to this person's logic, then I guess black people are all just dumb because they didn't pull themselves up by the bootstraps yet. Because they just decided to not take accountability. What a fucking moron.
And under your name, we are seeing this positive segregation in the black-only college dorms. We're seeing it in affirmative action. We're seeing it in our streaming services like Netflix and Hulu, where we have black-only categories. I went onto YouTube.
Wait, hold on. Oh God, I'm getting triggered because of the stupidity. I'm sorry. Are you saying that having a black category for black films or whatever is segregation? Just want to make sure I'm hearing this correctly. You're saying that because Netflix has a section on, like, black films, that's the same as, like, Jim Crow era segregation. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's coming back. I can't believe it. At one point, black people weren't allowed to enter businesses because they were black. Now I turn on Netflix and there's a category for black films. Oh, it's basically the same. How are you so stupid?
I went onto YouTube the other day and I got a big poster that said, let's uplift black creators. And here's a list of black creators on our platform. We are segregating.
Why is that bad? That's not segregating. That is literally by definition not segregating. It's just drawing attention to black creators. Were they like, today we're only going to be displaying black creator made videos and all white people will be temporarily terminated on YouTube? This isn't segregation, you dumb fuck. Listen, I know for like to land a job at PragerU, you have to be not only illiterate, painfully stupid, and brain dead, but you also need to have a complete misunderstanding of what words mean. But this is just embarrassing, dude.
Virtually every single facet of our society, and we're doing it in this gradual process and teaching people that it's a positive aspect of our lives when it's not.
What's wrong with uplifting Black creators sometimes? I don't understand what's bad about this. What's the end goal? The only reason she's on PragerU is because she's a Black girl saying things that conservatives agree with, by the way.
The left is very, very supportive of anti-American values and anti-American speech, and they see
Wait, it's the left that are in support of anti-American values? Really? Because it's you who's blaming the Black community for the negative circumstances that they're currently in. You're saying that they're just not good enough. I actually believe in American values, that everybody has the right to pursue happiness. And when you have systemic racism in place, you disproportionately prevent Black people from pursuing their happiness. Like, you realize the acknowledgement of systemic racism is far more in line with American values than the denial of it, right? Of course you don't. I forgot. I'm talking to an idiot.
it as taking back a country that has not served them, even though America has done wonders for everybody who lives here. I fear that if things continue on the same track that they're on right now, we are going to lose all sight of what America ever was or what America should be. And there are...
What America ever was. I don't even know what to say to this. Like, how has America changed for the worst? Or for the worse? Could you give me like a single example?
strong campaigns to strip America of its tradition and of its values. And a lot of it is what we are taught. When we go into school, we are taught that this country of freedom and liberty has all these transgressions that nobody wants to talk about and nobody wants to discuss. And
that is literally true. And you're demonstrating it right now. You're trying to argue that systemic racism isn't a thing because black people aren't accountable. You're doing that right now. You can't try to straw man what the lefty schools are saying when you're actually fitting the textbook definition of what your straw man is claiming to be talking about. Why are you doing that? Why are you proving their point?
really, we have a systemic issue that we really are not the free and tolerant country that we preach to people that we are. We are
if
not
we were a tolerant country or free, then we would want to make people more free, right? And if systems are in place hurting black people, wouldn't we want to fix those so that people can be more free?
the beacon on the hill that we try to get other people to perceive us as. And I think it is just a child that is born of misinformation and lies. I think that we can all find common ground in looking at the beautiful things that this...
Well, systemic racism is no more, everybody. Amala Wannabe said so. It is officially a thing. Okay. Yes. Finally, according to the CEO of racism, it's no more. Systemic racism has been solved. She said it's not real. That means it's not. Yes. Thank you. Divine command theory coming straight here from PragerU. Amen.
this country has to offer. We get to experience more freedom than anybody in the world. The fact that I can go out and have freedom of speech and say what I feel and what I think, it's also amazing in this country that we can come here and enjoy all these opportunities, create businesses, create our own world, create our own dream, and to know that...
Yeah, if only there wasn't any kind of system in place preventing black people from building businesses at the same rate that white people do. If only we could have that conversation, but you're too dumb.
You can go out and be whatever you want to be is a beautiful thing that should absolutely be celebrated on both sides.
Wow. What a super bad video. I am shocked. I'm floored. All right, well, I'm going to end this with a hot lefty take. We should bring segregation back, okay? Just not on the basis of race, on the basis of stupidity. If you're an ignorant moron, then, segregate that person. Keep them away. People like this girl are a danger to society because I don't think we can trust people like this to drive cars, to ensure that they're not going to just fall down the stairs or fall on top of somebody else. They might accidentally, poop on other people because they don't know how to use the toilet. When you're this level of ignorant and dumb, then yeah, bring back segregation, okay? Segregate the stupid. Amen. This video was really painful. It was... I always say it was worse than I was expecting, but this time it was kind of right in line with what I was expecting. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click the bell so you get notified when I drop a new video.